City Lights on Location returns with The Empire Strikes Back, and we now join Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher has recreated Princess Leia in The Empire Strikes Back. I was just speaking to David Prowse, and David Prowse, who of course, as we know and the world knows, is Darth Vader, was telling me about his first meeting with you in 1974 in London at the London Palladium show, when the headliner was a performer by the name of Debbie Reynolds, and one of the supporting players was a singer by the name of Carrie Fisher. And David Prowse, who, fresh from yet another muscle-building title, played a muscle man to your mother's Mae West.
Yes.
What were the two songs, Carrie, that you sang in the London Palladium show that impressed David Prowse so much?
Oh, that David. Let's see. I think it was Being Alive and... oh, geez. This is like a quiz show.
I tell you what.
And then when the Samsonite luggage. Meantime. Being Alive and Meantime.
Good choices. David Prowse, the reason I'm bringing all of this up is because there are only so many questions one can ask about Princess Leia, and you've answered them all. But David Prowse said that if you decided acting was not enough, or you didn't want it, that you would have a very successful career as a singer.
Throwing mic cords.
Really? Violent, eh?
Yes.
Punk rocker?
I could end up at the Tropicana Lounge in Vegas.
Singing or
Held
doing
hostage.
other things?
Hostage.
Is singing important to you? How much of your artistic endeavor really goes into singing?
Well, I haven't for a long time, since that.
Why
well,
not?
I sang on Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
When I sang on a Beach Blanket Bimbo from Outer Space. And I also sang on the Star Wars special that we did, Wookiee Life Day song or something that they wrote. I did sing that, too. They wrote for me.
As long as you have mentioned Saturday Night Live, and we happen to know that there are a number of Canadians with special talent who are integral parts of Saturday Night Live, how is the Blues Brothers?
Well, I only saw a little of it on a moviola, so that looked great. And the whole feeling of doing the picture was great to work on. Great pizza. We were in Chicago. And, you know, Danny's great.
Yes, I do know.
Out and about. No, and I started saying, "A," after doing the picture. "A?" It's a much better way of saying, "What? Huh?"
Or in lieu of thank you in America, everyone now says, mm-hmm.
Oh, do they?
Oh, from switchboard
I
operators.
better get out on the street and correct that.
You better hang around with Dan Aykroyd and Lorne Michaels and all the others more, and you'll just be saying A.
I try. That's all I'll be saying.
I want to ask you something about England, because after the attention you got, working with Warren Beatty, Lee Grant, and all of the others in Shampoo, you made a decision that had integrity, wisdom in it. You went off to London. You went to London to study. And based on what other people have said about you, they felt that you had talent and that you were searching for your own identity. When you go back to London and you find yourself, in a really very short period of time, acting opposite Lord Olivier and Joanne Woodward in Come Back Little Sheba, was there any sensation of the classroom in London and here I am?
Not a great deal. You know, you don't sort of pull yourself back from a situation and have that much perspective on it or have an overview. I don't have, not equipped with a monumental overview, so I didn't ever do that. I was overwhelmed by Olivier, but it was a combination of jet lag and overwhelm. I mean, I got the job and flew over and was there the next day, but he's lovely. I mean, he put me at ease, more than at ease.
And how did he do that, Carrie?
He swears a little bit.
Do you?
And, with him. And, no, he was just lovely, and he would sort of ask you questions, you know. He would say, do you think because he grew up in the Middle West that he would say good morning, or because he was educated in the East, good morning? Good morning from the middle. So, you know, that kind of technical stuff that he would ask me, who, you know.
Was there the same kind of generosity from Joanne Woodward, artist to artist?
Well, it was really interesting watching the two of them work together because it's such different methods of working. She's the actor's studio, and so every day her performance would change, whereas he would just sort of add little things. She would go one day crying throughout a whole scene. The next day played a whole different way. So it was very interesting watching that. So in the sense of watching them work, it was very helpful to me.
Let me ask you something that I ask you, because Jill Clayburgh offered an explanation about time span and how the public, who may buy tickets to go to movies, or the media, who sit with the personalities and ask them questions. Jill Clayburgh was trying to talk about Bertolucci and Luna, Alan Pakula and Starting Over, Claudia Weil and their new project, then going back to Unmarried Woman and Paul Mazursky and saying, if one asked her a question and said, but how did you feel when you, she'd say, you know, I don't know. I mean, that was 2 years ago, and you're only seeing the movie last night, and I honestly don't remember. When we sit with you, as we have been doing for days, and ask you a question about Princess Leia, and we know that since you finished it, you have been on the Broadway stage in a production of ill-fated censored scenes from King Kong. Okay. Mundo Video was a reality. The Blues Brothers is finished. Is there really a concept of what you did or put into Princess Leia at this point?
I'm always surprised when I read the bios, but the great relief to me is I found out that I could say, I don't know, or I don't remember. It's true. It's what Jill Clayburgh said. I never felt that I could say that before, that there would be dead air, you know, that someone asked you a question, you could just simply say, no, yes, I don't know, I don't remember that. I always felt compelled to try and figure out an answer.
But do you believe it? Can we believe, when we read your biography, that you have indeed said what's important in The Empire Strikes Back is that the relationships are developed, and this is like the 30s, Fred and Ginger, this is Gable and Lombard?
Well, it's what you say at the moment, you know, you're not really, it's that at that time, you know, I'm not, it's much easier for me to sort of sit and do an interview that's not live, because I have to sort of quickly think of the most accessible thing that I can think of in the front part of my mind, unless I didn't feel like I was sort of compelled to find a much more definitive reply, you know, or that was more satisfactory to me. But that's the thing that occurs to me at the moment. Maybe if I was asked, you know, at 4 o'clock and as opposed to 11 o'clock, that I would have an entirely different answer.
Have you done any writing lately?
No.
Why not? You no longer feel the need or the compulsion to sit down and write?
Oh, actually I have, but I have not ever been able to write anything that hasn't been sort of self-involved, you know, get away from myself, which is what I would like to do. So that's that answer.
With The Empire Strikes Back, a fait accompli, and playing in movie theaters, and the Blues Brothers all done, and all those millions of Universal dollars and 20th Century Fox dollars spent, while everyone waits to see the results, what happens to you while you wait to do part 3?
I try, like the Dickens, to get out of bed. One in between jobs, the tendency is to think, well, the phone could ring and I could get a job. So why should I start something I can't finish? I.e. writing, or with all of that would be the easiest because it's portable, or playing the piano, which I would like to do, or getting involved in another aspect of film, because you could be just sort of taken up in the middle of it and have to start over again. So you have to gear yourself into thinking, it doesn't matter. I will start it and I will, you know, then pick up where I left off. But that takes great discipline, and that's what I've got to do now.
Was your father at the theater the other evening?
Yes.
What did he think of The Empire Strikes Back?
He loves it. He thinks of himself as, if I'm a princess, he's a king. You know, so he loved the film.
That's family objectivity.
Yes.
Thank you. It's been good seeing you again.
Thank you. You too.
Our pleasure.
Hey.
Hey. City Lights on Location will return with more on The Empire Strikes Back and actor Billy D. Williams right after this.